Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here today with the Jewish Study Bible. Now, this has just come out in the past, I think 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. This is October 10th of 2016, Columbus Day for those of you. And it's one of the best-selling Bibles in America right now. I think because of its newness, a lot of people are buying it. It's put out by Hendrickson Publishing. You know, the Hendrickson brothers started Hendrickson as CBD, as young people there in the late 70s. Man, it's just blown totally up. It's one of the highest quality hardbacks I have ever seen. Now, I say that there's been a lot of good high-quality hardbacks coming out. The Archaeological Study Bible is absolutely beautiful in hardback. I think even the MacArthur Study Bible is very pretty in hardback. The new way they've done the Ryrie Study Bible is very nice in hardback. So, and this is kind of one of those things that it's real in right now, is a Jewish look at Jesus Christ. Now, obviously, Jesus was raised in a Jewish home, in a Jewish culture, in a Jewish land, spoke, I'm sure, Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, being from Nazareth. And so, you know, Judaism was in his warp and woof. In Luke 4, when you see him going into the synagogue, it was as was his custom. So he was accustomed to doing it. He was a Jewish male. He went to all of the festivals that the males were supposed to go to, the 3 in the year. And it says he was handed a synagogue roll. So he got the one from Isaiah and began to read. Like that was something he did. He was a reader in the synagogue. And so there's just a lot to that. Now people go to extremes trying to turn, just like they did in the New Testament with Paul, the Judaizers so-called, that they still try to do that. They try to enforce Judaism and Jewishness on Gentile Christians. You can't do that. So let's take a look. I did want to mention one of the few hardback Bibles that come with 2 ribbon markers. And they are gorgeous ribbon markers. Blue, just the color scheme with the gold. Even the binding has a blue on silver binding. So I'm like, they just took every way to make this a quality publication. So it says the Complete Jewish Study Bible, Insights for Jews and Christians, Illuminating the Jewishness of God's Word. Now this is, you've probably heard, or many of you have, the Jewish New Testament by David Stern. This is a second edition of that. So let's keep going in this. It's going to have several pages in the front, great presentation page. And these pages are like slick pages. They're not like the Bible pages that get all crumpled up in the front like we're used to. These are like slick. It gives a table of contents. And you can see it is just full of all types of things. And so then it's going to tell us a little bit about the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Tosefta, other works. What are they? Resources and people who helped with this. Targum text, other rabbinical writings, Mishnah and Talmud. The Complete Jewish Study Bible from the General Editor. So I appreciate this. He's a Messianic Jew. He didn't get converted till he was 37. I think he got a degree from Princeton. Maybe a doctorate from Princeton. So some unique features. Has topical articles, anti-Jewish scriptural interpretations, theme articles, new Bible book introductions, study notes, list of contributors, colorful maps. They really are good maps. Covenants, Jewish customs, Jewish-Gentile relations, Messianic prophecies, the names of God, the Sabbath. Now I will say this, he's real big on keeping the Sabbath, which let's go to Romans 14 and Colossians 2 there. Let's not go over. Let's go that we don't find anybody keeping the Sabbath till the Jews in Exodus, you know, so it was for the Jews. The holy days of Israel, salvation and atonement, the land of Israel, the Torah, the tabernacle, the Mishkan, other new features in the complete study Bible, a list of Bible book abbreviations, Midrash, Talmud, other works briefly summarized as literature, topical themes, article index, biographies of rabbis and sages, which is a really cool thing in the back, by the way, and works cited in further reading, which is unique for study Bibles. They normally do not have a bibliography. This does. So an introduction of the complete Jewish study Bible. How he translated it, the text he used translating it. Now, one thing I noticed in reading through it, it is gender inclusive, which people call gender neutral. So you can see it's just got all kinds of things. I'm going to skip over a few things here. Reasons for Christians. Let me see, I'm trying to read upside down. Reasons for certain Brit Hadish renderings. Did Yeshua fill or fulfill the Torah? Binding and loosing. Who has the authority to determine halakha? Minor differences between the Jewish New Testament and the complete Jewish Bibles. Brit Hadasha. Tanakh prophecies fulfilled by Yeshua, the Messiah, and things such as that. Works of the law and under the law. Is the Torah legalistic? And then what the Messiah must be, the source in the Tanakh, the fulfillment in the Brit Hadasha, which is the New Testament. The synagogue usage of the complete Jewish Bible. Again, he is a Messianic Jew. Pronunciation guide. And so then an introduction to Bereshit, which is the book of Genesis. That's the Jews, they would name things after the first word or phrase in the beginning, Bereshit. And so, nice little introduction. I like the brevity of it. Even still has an outline. And so now you get to see, it does have the study notes at the bottom. And then it'll have a thing on the names of God like Elohim. Messianic prophecies. The Sabbath. So it's got a lot of information. The print, I would guess, is around 9.5 point print. That is just a guess on my part. But you can see how beautiful the color coding and the little decorative things are just gorgeous. It'll have some blue down in here. So, like, you know, I had some things marked. I think I unmarked it. But like baptism, Jewish customs. One of the neat things I saw about baptism, this is a note located in Leviticus 14, and immersed fully, one is like the fetus in the womb, and coming up out of the water, it is as if one is reborn. The individual who has sinned and become impure is transformed. He dies and is resurrected and becomes a new creation like a newborn child. Of course, in reading that, it's talking about the mikvah, the baptism. You're immediately drawn to John chapter 3. So that is just fantastic. You can see that he does use some paragraph. I was looking for that back in Genesis. I'm like, nice individual back here in Genesis, but a lot of paragraph format. Now he doesn't have like headings or paragraph headings. One thing I really like though, he'll have the Hebrew name and then he'll have the English name. I really like that. That's just kind of cool. Vayikra. I'm probably totally mispronouncing it. I studied Hebrew many years ago. I loved it, but as Erasmus said, I only have one lifetime. I can't do it. But boy, Martin Luther, he was really benefited by knowing Hebrew. Holy Days of Israel. So it's just packed full of information. Now, at parts where it has the, like the outline, it'll still have the outline. It'll do an outline there. Just good stuff. It does not have references. That is one thing you notice. So it's a totally new translation, but again, you know, you might get it to compare translation and stuff, but if you're like me, you just get stuff like this for the notes. I'll read like Deuteronomy 22:5, how he translated that. He didn't give any note about it, but he said, a woman is not to wear men's clothing and a man is not to put on women's clothing, for whoever does these things is detestable to Adonai your God. Now, another thing is he follows the Jewish order of the books. So you've only got, 22 Old Testament books. It's still all 39 books there, but they combine like all the minor prophets, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, 1st, 2nd Chronicles, kind of combine these type things. So it actually ends with 2nd Chronicles, like a Jewish Bible would, like you would in the time of Jesus. So that's kind of cool. He does the poetry like most people do in the verse. I even like how he does like the psalm headings, like deep, dark blue. It's just gorgeous. Whoever designed this Bible, deep blue up here, they just did a masterful job designing this Bible, in my opinion. It comes in a nice imitation leather. Like you can see Proverbs. But it comes in a nice imitation leather as well as hardback and a good genuine leather. I think that's the only 3 bindings they came out with. Hardback, nice imitation. So 2nd Chronicles, last book. Now you get to Matthew, has things on the Sabbath. Did Messiah's followers break Shabbat? Goes into a big thing. You can still see at the bottom it has the notes and the commentary. The prophecies are in dark. Prophecies from the Old Testament, he darkened them for easy reference. And let's get to the let's get to the back. I did want to say that it is not red letter. There's pros and cons. Some people love red letter, some people don't. I think it's all the words of God, but if the Bible's got red letter, it's fine with me. I think Jesus was God. It's all red letter. It's all the same. So, you get to the back, you've got a glossary of Hebrew words with pronunciation into English. And also, it's got their meanings. Well, not all of their meanings, but just a few. So that's kind of neat. Glossary of English words into Hebrew, like Aaron. You'd say Aharon, Abel. Still remember my Hebrew classes. But anyhow, index of Tanakh passages cited in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament. So that's a very useful section, as a matter of fact. Scriptural readings for Shabbat, festivals, feasts, and fasts. That's kind of cool to know what they read during those times. Theme article index, topical article index. All kinds of stuff. Biographies of rabbis and sages. Now this is fantastic. You kind of know the history of the Jewish people. Then a list of contributors. Always enjoy reading that. And then most study Bibles don't have this, but works cited and future reading. So this has got some really good stuff in it. Some not so good stuff in it, but some really good stuff. About the translator, David H. Stern. Let's see. Yeah, it says he earned a PhD in economics at Princeton University. He's a professor at UCLA, as well as a mountain climber. Now, one of the places, too, I really like this Bible is, I've never seen these maps, and they may be common now, but these are really nice maps. They're just new. Of course, they got them going through no water. That's just kind of common, or maybe it's small water. But on the Exodus, some really nice maps. So again, overall, high quality, tremendous information you definitely don't get almost anywhere else. Translation, interesting to look at. Of course, you know, you guys know I'm a King James guy, but just again, interesting to look at, maybe compare. But it's the information that's inside this Bible. It's most interesting and fascinating to me. There's extremes. You don't want to go back. You don't want to start celebrating feasts. You don't want to start, unless it's something you want to do at your church to kind of show them how they did it. But it doesn't want to be mandatory. We're not under the law. Jesus was the end of the law to everyone that believeth. He fulfilled the law. So you and I don't have to do any of those things. So, but fascinating information. And on the flip side, it is great to learn about the Jewishness of Jesus Christ. The Jewish Study Bible, the complete Jewish Study Bible. And you can get them really good prices right now because they're new. So God bless you. Have a great day in Jesus.